There is something most people do not understand about aging. The thing they fear is not an empty house, not a quiet room, not days spent without company. What terrifies them is the thought of being trapped inside their own mind with nowhere to run. You see it everywhere. People in their later years who fill every moment with activity, who keep the television on constantly, who call anyone just to hear another voice, who panic at the thought of an evening alone. They will tell you they are social, that they love people, that connection matters to them. And perhaps that is partly true, but underneath the words there is often something else, a quiet desperation, a fear so deep they cannot name it. The fear of what happens when the noise stops. Some people grow old, surrounded by family, and feel completely isolated. They sit at dinner tables full of conversation and feel invisible. They are in rooms full of laughter and feel untouched by any of it. Others live alone in small apartments with no one checking on them for days, and wake each morning with a sense of calm that nothing can disturb. The difference is not in how many people are around them. The difference is not in their circumstances or their social calendars or how many children remember to call. The difference is whether they have learned to live peacefully with themselves. In Buddhism, there is a teaching about refuge. True refuge is not found in other people. It is not found in circumstances. It is found in the mind that has learned to rest within itself. When you understand this truth, aging becomes something entirely different. You stop fearing solitude. You stop measuring your worth by how often the phone rings or how many people remember your name. You discover that being alone and being lonely are two completely separate experiences. Being alone is simply a condition of the body. You are in a room. No one else is there. That is all it is. Loneliness is a condition of the mind. It is what happens when your own presence feels unbearable. When silence becomes so heavy, you would do anything to escape it. Most people confuse these two things their entire lives. They believe loneliness comes from the absence of others. So, they fill their days with noise, with people, with distractions. But then one day, the noise fades. People move on, and what they discover is that loneliness was never about being alone at all. It was about never learning how to stay with themselves. Buddhism teaches something that sounds simple but changes everything when you truly understand it. Suffering does not come from silence. Suffering comes from a mind that cannot be silent. A restless mind turns every quiet moment into torture. It fills the space with regret, with worry, with endless loops of thoughts that go nowhere. When your mind has no inner stability, it feels anxious wherever it goes. You can be in a crowded room and still feel completely alone because the mind is not at peace with itself. This is why some people spend their entire lives running from solitude. They stay busy. They stay connected. They surround themselves with people, not because they genuinely want connection, but because they are terrified of what happens when they stop moving. The truth is, most of what we call loneliness is actually fear. Fear of facing the parts of ourselves we have been ignoring for decades. Many people do not live from a place of inner strength. They live from the presence of another person. When that person is there, they feel okay. When that person leaves, everything collapses. Watch someone whose entire day revolves around whether their partner seems happy, whether their children call, whether their friends include them. Their mood rises and falls based entirely on signals from the outside. A text message arrives and they feel seen. An invitation comes and they feel valued. Silence extends for a day and suddenly they question everything, their worth, their importance. whether anyone truly cares. This is not love. This is attachment disguised as connection. The Buddha was very clear about this. Where there is misplaced refuge, suffering follows. If you place your refuge in another human being, your peace becomes dependent on their mood, on their choices, on whether they stay or leave. You hand over your stability to someone who is just as fragile and uncertain as you are, someone who has bad days, someone whose attention wanders, someone whose own life pulls them in directions that have nothing to do with you. And when their energy shifts, when they become preoccupied or distant, or simply busy with their own concerns, you interpret it as abandonment. You take it personally. You create stories. You wonder what you did wrong. And all of that suffering comes not from what they did or did not do, but from the fact that you made them responsible for something they were never meant to carry. Your inner peace. This is why so many people feel devastated when relationships end. Not because the relationship was perfect, but because they built their entire emotional life around it. They did not know how to be okay on their own, so when the other person was gone, they were left with a version of themselves they did not recognize. An empty version. A version that had forgotten how to function without someone else there to validate its existence. Aging makes this attachment even more dangerous. People move away, partners pass, friends become fewer. And if you never learned how to live from your own center, all of that loss feels like the end of everything. You watch others building lives in different cities and feel forgotten. You attend funerals of people who once filled your days and wonder who you are without them. You realize that the phone rings less often and interpret it as evidence that you no longer matter. But here is what Buddhism offers, a different way. If you learn now how to be your own refuge, then loss does not destroy you. Change does not terrify you. You remain stable even when everything around you shifts. This is not about becoming cold or detached. It is about becoming free. Free from the exhausting work of managing other people's attention. Free from the fear that defines so much of how we relate to others. Free to love without clinging. To connect without desperate need. When external noise disappears, the mind begins to speak. It brings regret, shame, self-blame, stories that were buried under years of distraction, conversations you wish you had handled differently, choices you made that hurt people, opportunities you let slip away because you were afraid or careless or too proud to see what was right in front of you. The mind does not bring these things gently. It brings them with force, with accusation, with the weight of decades pressing down all at once. And so you do anything to avoid it. You turn on the television even when you are not watching. You scroll through your phone, looking at lives that do not concern you. You call people you do not particularly want to talk to, just so someone else's voice fills the space. This is why silence feels unbearable for so many people. Not because silence itself is painful, but because it forces you to face what you have been avoiding. All the things you told yourself you would deal with later, all the feelings you pushed down because they were inconvenient, all the truths about yourself you did not want to acknowledge. Buddhism calls this an untrained mind. A mind that has never learned how to rest, how to observe without panicking, how to be present without immediately reaching for something to numb the discomfort. An untrained mind creates its own suffering. It replays old wounds not to heal them, but to keep them fresh. It imagines future disasters not to prepare for them, but to torture itself with possibilities. It compares the present moment to some idealized version of the past, when things were supposedly better, when you were younger, stronger, more valued, more loved. And in doing so, it makes the present unbearable. Sitting alone with an untrained mind feels like punishment. The thoughts do not stop, the emotions do not settle. Every quiet moment becomes a battlefield where you fight the same old enemies over and over again. But this is not a permanent condition. The mind can be trained, not through force, not through distraction, not by pretending the difficult feelings do not exist, but through the simple practice of learning to stay. You do not need to meditate for hours. You do not need to sit in perfect stillness, chanting mantras, or following complicated breathing techniques. The practice begins much more simply than that. It begins by not immediately escaping silence, not reaching for your phone the moment you sit down, not filling every empty space with noise, not calling someone just to avoid being with yourself. Start with small moments. Drink your tea in quiet. Walk without headphones. Sit for 5 minutes without fixing anything or planning anything or judging anything. Just sit. Just breathe. Just notice what arises. At first, this will feel uncomfortable, deeply uncomfortable. The mind will resist. It will tell you this is pointless, that you are wasting time, that there are more important things you should be doing. It will fill your head with urgent tasks that suddenly seem critical. You will remember errands, emails, phone calls, things that did not matter 5 minutes ago but now feel like emergencies. This is the mind trying to pull you back into distraction, because distraction is what it knows. Distraction is safe. Distraction keeps you from feeling anything too deeply. But if you stay just 5 more minutes, the discomfort begins to soften. You notice that thoughts come and go. They rise like waves, and then they pass. Feelings emerge sharp and intense, and then they fade. And underneath all of that movement, there is something steady. A part of you that is simply witnessing, simply present, not caught up in the drama of every passing thought. This steadiness is what Buddhism calls your true nature. It has always been there. You simply covered it with layers of noise and distraction and constant doing. The practice of returning is not about achieving some enlightened state where you never feel lonely again. It is not about becoming some perfect version of yourself who floats above human emotion. It is about learning that you can sit with yourself without collapsing. That silence is not your enemy. That your own mind, when given time and patience and a little bit of kindness, can become a place of rest instead of a source of torment. When you practice this regularly, something shifts. You stop fearing being alone. You stop needing people to distract you from yourself. You begin to notice that some of your loneliest moments actually happened in crowded rooms, and some of your most peaceful moments happened when you were completely alone. You discover that solitude is not the problem. The problem was never learning how to be at home in your own presence. And slowly, very slowly, you build a relationship with yourself, one where you are not constantly running, not constantly judging, not constantly wishing you were someone else, somewhere else, with a different past and a different life. You start to accept yourself as you are, with all your flaws and regrets and unfinished business, with all the ways you fell short of your own expectations. And in that acceptance you find something most people search for their entire lives and never find. A kind of peace that does not depend on circumstances, a kind of home that travels with you wherever you go. Buddhism does not teach self-deception. It does not ask you to pretend everything is fine when it is not. It does not tell you to ignore your mistakes or brush them off as if they never happened. But it also does not teach self-cruelty. Many people, when they finally stop and look at their lives, are flooded with harsh judgments. I wasted so much time. I hurt people who loved me. I failed at things that mattered. I chose poorly. I was weak when I should have been strong. This kind of thinking does not lead to peace. It leads to bitterness, and bitterness poisons whatever time you have left. You sit in your aging body looking back at decades of choices, and all you can see are the failures. The moments you were selfish, the times you were blind to what others needed, the opportunities you squandered because you were afraid or proud or simply did not know any better. And you beat yourself with these memories. You use them as evidence that you are fundamentally flawed, that you do not deserve peace, that your loneliness is somehow earned. Buddhism offers a different approach. See clearly where you failed, where you were limited, where you caused harm. But look with this understanding. At that time, awareness was not yet mature. You acted from ignorance, from fear, from conditioning you did not even know was shaping you. Think about it honestly. At the time you made those choices, did you have the awareness you have now? Did you understand what you understand today about how relationships work, or how your actions affect others, or how your own pain was making you blind? You did not. None of us did. We grow slowly. We learn through failure. We stumble and fall and hurt people and get hurt, and only much later do we begin to see the patterns. This does not erase responsibility. You still caused harm. You still made choices that had consequences. But it allows you to see your past with compassion instead of condemnation. Honesty is for understanding, not punishment. When you look at your life this way, the weight begins to lift. You stop carrying shame that serves no purpose. You stop replaying mistakes as if thinking about them one more time will somehow change what happened. You see clearly. You learn what the experience taught you, and then you let it rest. This is not forgiveness as a moral command. This is not about forcing yourself to feel okay about things that were not okay. This is forgiveness as a result of insight. When you truly see that your actions arose from the level of understanding you had at the time, your heart naturally softens. Not because you are excusing yourself, but because you finally understand how suffering works, how ignorance works, how the mind creates pain without meaning to. You see that everyone, including you, was doing the best they could with what they knew. And sometimes that best was not very good. Sometimes it hurt people. Sometimes it destroyed things that mattered. But punishing yourself now changes nothing. It does not heal the past. It does not help anyone. It only adds more suffering to suffering that already exists. This understanding does not make you weak. It makes you wise. And wisdom is what allows you to age without bitterness. To look back at your life with clear eyes and say, yes, I made mistakes and I hurt people and I fell short in ways that still pain me. And also to say, I was human, I was learning, I was stumbling through the same darkness everyone stumbles through. And now I choose to use what time remains differently, not perfectly, but with more awareness, more kindness, more honesty about what really matters. The Buddha said, be an island unto yourself. In daily life, this means building a life that does not collapse the moment someone else is not there. It means having a stable routine, meaningful daily actions, caring for your body, avoiding the stagnation of body and mind that turns aging into decay. This is not about rigid schedules or forcing yourself into activities you hate. It is about creating structure that supports you. When your days have shape, you feel grounded. You wake with a sense of direction. You know what comes next. You are not just floating through empty hours wondering how to fill the time. Structure creates safety for the mind. It gives you something to return to when emotions feel chaotic. It reminds you that even when relationships shift and people leave, your life still has form. This is why so many people struggle after retirement. Not because work itself was fulfilling, but because it provided structure. It gave them a reason to wake up, a place to be, people to see, a role that organized their days. When that structure disappears, many people do not know what to do with themselves. They sleep later. They stop making plans. They let days blur into weeks, into months. And without realizing it, they drift into a kind of emotional fog, a place where nothing seems to matter very much, where loneliness settles in, not because they are alone, but because their life has lost its shape. Buddhism teaches that this drift is dangerous, not because being idle is wrong, but because a life without direction breeds restlessness. The mind needs something to engage with, something that gives the day meaning, something that reminds you that you still matter. You do not need a grand mission. You do not need to change the world or leave some impressive legacy. But you do need something, some small ritual that anchors your morning, some activity that uses your hands or your mind in ways that feel worthwhile, some practice that connects you to something beyond your own circular thoughts. It could be tending a garden and watching things grow season after season. It could be writing letters to people you care about, even if they never write back. It could be learning a language or a craft you always wanted to try. It could be volunteering somewhere that needs what you can offer. It could be cooking a real meal for yourself instead of eating standing up in front of the refrigerator. It could be walking the same route each morning and noticing how the light changes through the year. The activity itself is less important than the fact that it settles your mind, that it gives you a reason to show up, that it connects you to something beyond the endless loop of worry and regret. When the mind rests in what it does, loneliness has no ground to grow. Because loneliness thrives in empty time, in hours that stretch ahead with nothing to break them up, in days that feel indistinguishable from each other. But when you have structure, when you have practices that matter to you, time takes on a different quality. You are not just waiting, you are living, even if what you are doing seems small or insignificant to anyone watching. This is inner right livelihood, not your career, not your accomplishments that the world recognizes, but the simple truth that your life has purpose because you give it purpose, that you matter because you choose to show up for yourself, because you refuse to let your days dissolve into nothing. Many people misunderstand what Buddhism teaches about detachment. They think it means withdrawing from life, becoming indifferent, caring about nothing and no one. They imagine detachment as a kind of emotional coldness, a hardening of the heart, a retreat into isolation where nothing can touch you. That is not what detachment means. Detachment means no longer clinging to things as if your survival depends on them. It means you can love people without needing them to complete you. You can enjoy connection without falling apart when it ends. You can care deeply without making someone else responsible for your inner state. Think about the difference. When you are attached to someone, their mood determines yours. If they are happy, you feel okay. If they are distant, you panic. If they pull away even slightly, you interpret it as rejection. You are constantly monitoring, constantly adjusting, constantly trying to read signals to figure out if you are still valued, still wanted, still safe. This is exhausting for you and for them. But when you are detached in the Buddhist sense, you love without this desperate edge. You care without this constant anxiety. You can be with someone and genuinely enjoy their presence. But if they need to leave, or if the relationship shifts, or if circumstances pull you apart, you do not shatter. You grieve. You feel the sadness of loss. But underneath the sadness there is something solid, something that knows you will be okay, that you have been okay before and you will be okay again. This is not coldness, this is freedom. When you no longer need others to fill your emptiness, you meet people with freedom. You are not grasping, you are not performing. You are not terrified they will discover you are not enough and leave. You are simply present. And that presence makes every relationship lighter, truer, more honest. People feel the difference. They sense that you are not trying to use them to fix something broken inside you. They sense that you are meeting them as a whole person meeting another whole person, not as two halves desperately trying to become complete. And paradoxically, this is often when the deepest connections happen, not when you are desperate for them, but when you are whole enough to meet another person without demanding they save you. When someone knows you will be fine whether they stay or go, they relax. They stop feeling the weight of your neediness. They stop feeling responsible for maintaining your emotional balance. And in that space, real intimacy becomes possible. The kind of intimacy that is based on choice, not fear. On genuine affection, not desperate attachment. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop suffocating people with your need. And it means that when someone does leave, whether by choice or circumstance, you grieve without collapsing. You feel the sadness without letting it destroy your foundation. Because your foundation was never built on them, it was built on you. On your ability to be okay in your own company. On your capacity to find meaning in your own life. On your willingness to face yourself with honesty and kindness. When you have that foundation, relationships become something you choose, not something you desperately need. And aging with that kind of inner stability changes everything. People will leave. That is guaranteed. Your partner may pass. Your children may move across the country. Your friends may fade as their own lives become more complicated. But none of that destroys you, because you never made the mistake of placing your entire sense of self in their hands. For most people, loneliness feels like punishment, like something went wrong, like they are being abandoned by life itself. But in Buddhism, loneliness can become a path of practice. It teaches impermanence. Everything you love will change. Everyone you know will eventually leave. This is not cruelty. This is simply how life works. It teaches non-attachment. The tighter you hold, the more you suffer. The more you let go, the lighter you become. It teaches you to return to your true nature, to discover what remains when everything external is stripped away. Not everyone walks this path, and that is fine. There are many ways to live. But if you find yourself aging alone, if circumstances have brought you to a place where solitude is no longer optional, then perhaps this is not an accident. Perhaps this is exactly the training your soul needed. Buddhism does not promise that this path is easy, but it does promise that it leads somewhere real, to a kind of peace that does not depend on whether anyone is in the room with you, to a kind of freedom that no one can take away. This is not about making loneliness beautiful. It is about transforming it into something useful, into a teacher, into a mirror, into a doorway that leads you back to yourself. In the end, you will always remain with yourself. This is the one relationship that lasts from birth to death. The one presence that never leaves. No one can live your life for you. No one can think your thoughts. No one can feel your feelings or make your choices or walk your final steps. You are alone in that sense. And you always have been. But aloneness is not the same as loneliness. Aloneness is simply the truth of being human. Loneliness is what happens when you fight that truth, when you spend your whole life trying to escape it instead of learning to live with it. If today you learn to sit peacefully with your own mind, then wherever you are, you will never truly be lonely. You will have what so many people search for their entire lives and never find: a home that cannot be taken from you, a refuge that exists independent of circumstances. This is not about becoming a monk. This is not about rejecting connection or isolating yourself. This is about becoming strong enough that solitude does not terrify you, grounded enough that silence feels like rest instead of punishment. This is about aging with dignity, with clarity, with a kind of quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can handle whatever comes. People will leave, that is certain. Strength will fade, memory will soften. The world will move on without asking your permission. But if you have learned to be at peace with yourself, none of that will destroy you. You will grieve, you will feel sadness, but underneath the sadness there will be something steady. A part of you that knows this is simply how life unfolds. That knows suffering comes not from change itself, but from resisting change. This is the gift Buddhism offers to those willing to receive it. Not an escape from aging, not a promise that life will be painless, but a way to walk through it without breaking, a way to be alone without being lonely, a way to remain whole even as everything around you falls away. The practice is simple, but it requires something most people are not willing to give. It requires you to stop running, to stop filling every moment with noise, to stop depending on others to make you feel okay. It requires you to turn toward yourself with honesty and kindness, to sit with what is uncomfortable, to face what you have been avoiding, and slowly, over time, to build a relationship with yourself that is strong enough to carry you through whatever remains. This is not dramatic. This is not mystical. This is simply the work of becoming human in the deepest sense, of learning that you are enough, that you have always been enough, and that the peace you have been searching for outside yourself has been waiting inside you all along. You just needed to stop long enough to notice it.